is intercepted 100 out of 100 times.
Particularly if it's Blake Bortles, right?
That's for sure. Boy, that went up, and there were 4 guys back there. Look how high that went, but nobody quite able to get to it. So Atlantic Coast gets a break on the deflection.
I'll tell you, watching that replay, I think Mandarin got a break. There was a potential late hit there that the referees missed. If I'm Mandarin, I'm very thankful I did not get called for a personal foul on that play. That was a late hit.
Well, with the clock stopped with 6:33 to go here in the second quarter, it's time for a Sonic hydration break. Every night you can take a break after 8 to enjoy Sonic Nights with half-price milkshakes. Back after this.
Nominated deserving teacher to be recognized as the Sonic Drive-In Classroom of the Month. Winners will receive $250 in school supplies as well as Sonic slushes for the entire class. To nominate a teacher, go to the contest page on news4jax.com. Sponsored by Sonic Drive-In.
The Publix Bold City Showcase Drive of the Game is brought to you by your local Southern Chevy dealers.
JOI has been wonderful for me. Going back to my playing days, they kept me on the field as a player. And since I have moved on to the next phase of my life, they have helped me lead a very active lifestyle. I got to go. And JOI, without them, I wouldn't be where I am. I mean, my left shoulder is money because of JOI. I'm going to go where the best is, and me, I'm going to JOI.
JOI, where the pros go.
If a car leaves the office at 5:46 p.m., picks up 2 different kids at 2 different locations, makes 1 U-turn because the second child forgot 1 item at the second location, passes 3 fast food joints looking for 1 meal that feeds 4 with 0 time to spare, what is the quickest way to get a quality family meal? The Publix Deli. With delicious, ready-to-enjoy meals, every option is the right answer. Now that's everyday easy. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Nominated deserving teacher to be recognized as the Sonic Drive-In Classroom of the Month. Winners will receive $250 in school supplies as well as Sonic slushes for the entire class. To nominate a teacher, go to the contest page on news4jax.com. Sponsored by Sonic Drive-In.
Name the top spot for veterans to live.
That's a Duval thing. A dinosaur on Beach Boulevard?
That's a Duval thing.
And a morning team who invest time to tell you stories you won't get anywhere else. Who help you get around traffic tie-ups with Time Saver Traffic. And sends News4Jax breaking news alerts to your phone so you can help keep your family safe. To make sure your day gets started right. You guessed it, The Morning Show on Channel 4, the local station.
Devron Lewis and Martranius Mack back deep near midfield, and Pat Bryant to kick for Atlantic Coast. And whoa, boy, he got a foot into that one deep. It'll land out of bounds at the 44, no return, and that was a heck of a punt.
It was a great punt. Great hang time, kick it out of bounds, kick it to where the returner can't get it. No net yardage on the return. Good job by Pat Bryant there. Caught a touchdown to get Atlantic Coast within a point. Now changing field position a little bit, although John Mandarin still looking pretty good, starting with the ball around their own 46-yard line.
That is for sure. And I tell you what, everyone knew coming in that they were going to be formidable, even having lost 18 starters. They came into the season ranked number 2 in the city behind a team that lost yesterday. So they have a chance to move up to number 1 in the city, number 7 in the state, number 34 in the country. And that is another slip. And Martranius Mack got a little bit before he fell down. Hey, catch the Mark Brunell Show. You never know what special guests might pop in Monday nights at 7 on CW 17.
We've seen Mandarin. We've seen 3 or 4 of their guys slip and fall when they could have potentially gotten big plays.
All in his same area as well. He got about 2. They'll try it again around the left end. Again, not much there, and a nice play by Travis Batts, the 6'4" junior. Talk about a guy with nice size on the defensive line.
Isn't football a great game? We talk about the 2 quarterbacks here, 6,000 yards passing last year, 63 touchdowns. Here we are, midway through the second quarter, it's 7-6 and a defensive slugfest.
That's right.
Just what we expected here on a Saturday afternoon.
Between 2 of the top quarterbacks. You're right. That's crazy. 3rd and 6. Mandarin right near midfield. And Beck's going to scramble. He's got some room, and he's going to get really close to that first down marker. think he might be a little bit short.
You want to know why people love Carson Beck? That's why they love Carson Beck. Lowering the shoulder, trying to get extra yardage.
Found a little hole, but a nice play and a nice tackle. I tell you what, when you're a guy that's 6 inches shorter than Carson Beck, to grab him, hog time, bring him down, that was a pretty nice job.
Looks like they gave him the first, just barely. 1st and 10 for the Mustangs, John.
That was Emmanuel Guerrier. I don't know how that was. They had the first down marker at the 43.5. Up the middle, and how about that little spin moves? Cameron Daniels.
Wow.
That was crazy.
There's a penalty flag on the play. That was a little Rey Mysterio Jr.-esque for you wrestling fans. A little spin-a-rooney, if you will.
They had him 3 yards earlier.
What color?
And he spun through it. That penalty, I think, is going to go against the Stingrays. Cameron Daniels had just under 400 yards rushing last year. Number 2 runner for them.
After the play, personal foul on the defense.
Okay.
The 3rd personal foul against Atlantic Coast.
To watch this. The spin. And that right there.
Yeah.
That would be it. That's your personal foul, as Atlantic Coast Jordan Williams caught with a little bit of a shove.
Not sure what that really accomplishes. I know it's the heat of the battle, but that always gets me when kids decide to do things like that at the end of the play.
Yeah, it gets them to the 23-yard line is what it gets them. And there comes Cameron Daniels. Good stop, caught from behind.
You mentioned Mandarin and where they were ranked in the city. A couple of pretty big upsets last night. Reigns going down, the back-to-back 4A state champion. Trinity Christian loses to Columbia 38-7 last night, and it was kind of a surprise as well.
As the number 1 team in the News for Jack's poll coming in. That was Tyrese Flulin, by the way, catching Daniels from behind. And same thing. And nothing doing for Cameron Daniels as suddenly Bobby Ramsey summons his inner Tom Coughlin and wants to run the ball.
These Atlantic Coast defensive players came to play. There is no question about that. They are keeping the Stingrays in the game. I'm very impressed, I'll tell you. Again, Mandarin replacing 9 starters on offense, but they still have a lot of talent out there. One of the best quarterbacks in the country out there. These Atlantic Coast Stingray defensive players are really getting after it right now.
And they will try to make a big play here on 3rd and 8. 3rd and 8. We have a timeout, and that one was called by Mandarin. Mandarin calls timeout on a 3rd and 8 with 3:34 to go here in this defensive battle, 2nd quarter. This timeout brought to you by Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute, proud to be the official sports medicine provider for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Sharks, Axemen, and Jumbo Shrimp. You can find out more at joionline.net.
And I'll tell you this too, John, the Mandarin championship run that they made a year ago, what a great run it was. I knew people that really weren't high school football fans. Maybe they went to Mandarin High School, but they all got into it. Mandarin kind of captivated this city a little bit last year. In fact, we had our holiday party at the radio station, and we got the package to where we could see the game that night being broadcast because so many people that worked with us on the radio wanted to watch Mandarin play for a state title.
And I tell you what, Carson Beck was unbelievable in those last 2 games. They beat Sarasota Riverview 45-31 in the state semis. He had a 128 quarterback rating. Then all he did in that championship game, 25 for 36, 330 yards, and 5 touchdowns, a quarterback rating of 137.7.
Oh, man.
That's how he finished his year, and thus Player of the Year and a state championship. 3rd and 9. Let's see what he can do here. Plenty of time. He's got a man open in the back of the end zone, and a great catch. Wow. And a touchdown.
What a catch.
And that is Jalen Smith. We just met his dad. Well, we just met him on a perfect pass in the corner of the end zone to Jalen Smith. And Mandarin has extended their lead 13-6. I don't know what's better, that Jalen stayed with this and caught it, or that Carson threw it right there. That's a pretty good catch with great I tell you what, you are doing nothing wrong as the defender. Desmond Evans all over him.
Now, if you're the defensive back, Desmond Evans, nothing to hang your head about there. You did your job. Carson Beck just made a phenomenal throw.
Extra point up and good.
What a catch.
That was big time.
Hey,
Brad Benwick adds it 14-6.
A Sports Center top 10. Eat your heart out on that one.
No, I think the star of that play was actually Jalen Smith. That ball was a little bit short, and he went back and got it and wrestled it away from the defender Desmond Evans, and wow, nice job, Jalen.
Not only that, he kept his feet in bounds too, or his foot in bounds, because he's obviously looking at the ball, but had the presence of mind to get a foot in to make the touchdown count. Beautiful throw. We'll see how Atlantic Coast responds here. 14-6, 3.5 to go before halftime.
And Tara Lagerman, nice job picking out Jalen's dad to interview before he made the amazing touchdown catch. One catch for 22 yards. You think that makes up for that drop on the first play? He did have a 46-yard touchdown on the first play of the game if he hadn't dropped it.
He did. And the thing about Carson Beck, too, you know, I talked to him. Remember, he was at Providence his first 2 years, and I talked to him when he transferred to Mandarin. Said he wanted to prove himself with bigger football. Providence was 3A, Mandarin was 8A. That's why he made that decision to go to Mandarin, and you see it's reaping big benefits for him.
I think that worked out then pretty good for him.
A little bit.
And on the return for Atlantic Coast, Daniel Dawson will get it out to the 27. Okay, now we have another one of those drives. You got to stay with these Bulldogs. You got to go and you got to show that you can do something. And I think that it is time for Rich Jacobs to make a move here. I think he has got to find his mark.
Yeah, they like points, John. There's no question about it. You don't want a 3 and out. I'm okay with running this clock out, getting a couple first downs, going into the locker room. 14-6. Worst case scenario is a 3 and out, giving the ball back to Mandarin with the momentum the Mandarin offense has.
Jacobs only 5 for 12 for 37 yards in this half.
Yeah.
Under center, handoff up the middle. I'll tell you what, I like this sophomore. We've got a ball loose, and we've got it going the other way. Mandarin's got the football, and I believe it's in the hands of Ty Baker. And I was just about to say great running by Kendall Mathis, whose feet never seem to stop. But on that one, it cost him as he loses the football. Ty Baker comes up with it, and it's 1st and 10 in beautiful field position at the 20-yard. 9th grader Ty Baker.
I mentioned a 3 and out would be a bad situation. Well, a fumble is an even worse situation. So now Mandarin set up deep in Atlantic Coast territory, and that's a situation trying to get more yardage, John. Yeah. Mandarin just rips the ball out of there.
He was doing what he's supposed to do. He keeps his feet going, and somebody got a big paw in and ripped it out. And Ty Baker, I've got him as a sophomore, but he's a youngster. 1st and 10 at the 20, and Carson Beck back to work with a chance to up his team's lead to a couple of touchdowns here before the half. And this is kind of the worst case scenario you just described, except you were talking about the 3 and out, not the one run and out.
Dead ball foul, delay a game on offense.
Wow, delay of game, back him up 5. John, if I'm Mandarin, I go for the end zone here. I go for the jugular. Quick turnover, defense back out there for Atlantic Coast. Maybe a little shell-shocked after that Jalen Smith touchdown. If I'm Carson Beck, I go for 6 right here.
He's got Jordan Smith out to the left on the other side. I'm sorry, not Jordan Smith, that's Baker. And that ball is on the ground, and Beck goes down to get it, and they're going to lose 4 more. So 5 on the penalty, 4 more on the bad snap. And suddenly, Mandarin's moving the wrong way.
Yeah, kind of best case scenario for Atlantic Coast there. Had to be pretty shell-shocked after the fumble, but now Mandarin looking at what, a 2nd and 19, it looks like.
From the 29, Cameron Daniels stands next to Carson Beck. Trips to the right side. He's looking that way. He's got pressure, going to throw a screen instead to Daniels, and really nice coverage there. First, I think the guy who really made the play was, I think it was 50...
Looked like 57.
57 is what it looked like to me, and that is Jabari Anthony. He stopped the play, and then the tackle made shortly thereafter. And 3rd and 14.
This Atlantic Coast defense is pretty, what I like about them is they don't panic. They still have things in front of them. Pretty resilient group, this bunch.
They've been beaten twice. 2 big plays. 2 big plays. Other than that, now trips to the left, including Tristan Riley. He's the one in motion. Now he's in the slot between the 2 guys. And now we're going to get a new call from the sidelines. And 3rd and 14 goes like this. He's looking. And now he's running. That's not going to go that well. And tackled out of bounds. And this drive will end quickly. Or at least will bring up a 4th down. Here's the view from our Lee and Kate's glass chopper cam. With Lee and Kate's glass, you can see a big difference. How about that?
Beautiful.
I wondered what that chopper was doing just hanging up there when I was walking here.
Wonder if that chopper wants to give me a ride home in a little bit.
I think I might have been parked near Bay Meadows. It was a little bit of a walk. Here we go. They go for it on 4th and 10. The throw almost intercepted. Getting his hands on it for Mandarin was number 30, Rontavian Scott, the linebacker. And just like that, Mandarin turns the ball over, wastes an amazing opportunity to almost put this ball game a bit away here in the first half.
Yeah, file that one away too for when we get into the 4th quarter, because again, that would have been very easy for Atlantic Coast to feel sorry for themselves. Mandarin gets the ball, great field position. That delay of game though, John, might have thrown everything off for the Mustangs. You get a delay of game before you even snap the ball. That probably derailed what Mandarin had going there.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you take a knee here and just take it 14-6? That's kind of what you do, and then you hand off and you get almost 10.
Yeah, makes you think. I would imagine if I'm Coach Montemayor of Atlantic Coast, if I tell you 14-6 Mandarin at the half, I think you probably take that an hour ago.
Ronnie West, absolutely. Ronnie West on that one. Found a little bit of room around the left end, and now they're in a hurry up. I tell you what, if they get another first down, they might try to throw the ball a little bit. Certainly look in a run formation, and now we've got a penalty marker, and Rich Jacobs does the put the hands out as if.
Before that snap, false start on the offense. Down to remain 2.
You expect to see a little bit of sloppy play game 1, really on any level. You know, high school, collegiately, or the pros. Game 1's always kind of a time to get the kinks out, if you will.
Tell you what, Lee had some troubles today. They made a lot of mistakes, a lot of really big mistakes that made what should have been a really close game not very close at all.
Bartram Trail was very, very impressive in game 1 here at the Publix Bold City Showcase.
Okay, now I think they'll take a knee. Yeah, or not. Oh, sheesh. I think I would have taken a knee.
But Rich Jacobs wished they would have taken a knee.
Boy, on third and long, they decide to go for it.
You know what, though, John? When you got a player like Patrick Bryant, you know, if he would have gotten that ball off, throw it up 30 yards, maybe makes a play for you. But what you don't want is what just happened, getting your quarterback just crushed by 2 defensive linemen there to end the half.
And the clock is ticking out. I tell you what, if I was Mandarin and I had a timeout, I think I would have used it, but maybe they don't. But that'll be it, the first half. And a little surprising. Who would have thought it'd be 14-6 and it'd be a defensive battle? Who would have thought Carson Beck would have 2 interceptions?
Yeah.
And who would have thought that right there at the end? All right, time for our Care Spot Coach's Corner. Let's go to the sidelines with Tara Lagerman, who has Coach Bobby Ramsey.
Hey, Coach Ramsey, you have 18 new guys in starting roles this year. It's your first live look at the team. What are your thoughts?
Like a team that's got 18 new starters in a lot of spots, you know, I think we've flashed some really good play, and you know, we've shown some talent and some athleticism, but the consistency's certainly not there, especially offensively. It's kind of been feast or famine.
And Beck had some turnovers early. What are your conversations going to be like with him in the locker room?
Well, I mean, I think one of those kids made a pretty darn good play, and the other one kid made a pretty good play too. But you know, he's got to do a better job of protecting the football, and you know, he knows that. I think he's come back and played pretty well. But you know, everybody makes mistakes, and he's a high school quarterback still learning. So you know, we'll make the corrections and move forward.
And I couldn't help but notice that championship ring on your finger. If you could show that to everybody at home. What's the goal to get to that?
Have a good second half for right now, and then we'll worry about the rest of it later. But keep this lead, hopefully.
Thanks so much, Coach. Back to you guys.
All right, there you have it, Bobby Ramsey. 14-6 is our halftime score, and we got some football to be played here as we continue on with the Publix Bold City Showcase. Back with more after this.
When you walk into a gate, you'll get more than you ever imagined, like quick and hearty meal options, fresh and fast pick-me-ups, and friendly faces to serve you. Gate has everything you need to keep up with your busy life. Say cheers to 25 years with the Jaguars' 25th anniversary collectible cup filled with your favorite fountain drink for just $1.25. Gate, serving up more.
Tracking dangerous storms minute by minute. The Weather Authority on News 4 Jax.
If a car leaves the office at 5:46 p.m., picks up 2 different kids at 2 different locations, makes 1 U-turn because the second child forgot 1 item at the second location, passes 3 fast food joints looking for 1 meal that feeds 4 with 0 time to spare, what is the quickest way to get a quality family meal? The Publix Deli. With delicious, ready-to-enjoy meals, every option is the right answer. Now that's everyday easy. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
I switched from Dodge.
We switched from Ford.
I switched from Ram. I switched to Chevy.
We switched to Chevy. We switched to Chevy.
For dependability.
For these guys.
And just look at it.
We switched to Chevy.
See for yourself why people are switching at the Chevy All-Star Open House.
Visit your participating local Chevy dealer today and register to win this all-new 2019 Silverado LT Trail Boss. See your Southern Chevy dealers.
JOI has been wonderful for me. Going back to my playing days, they kept me on the field as a player. And since I have moved on to the next phase of my life, they have helped me lead a very active lifestyle. I got to go, go, go. And JOI, without them, I wouldn't be where I am. I mean, my left shoulder is money because of JOI. I'm going to go where the best is, and me, I'm going to JOI.
JOI, where the pros go.
And welcome back. Halftime here, 14-6. Been a very interesting first half. A couple of surprises. For one, as we mentioned, Carson Beck with a couple of interceptions. I think Atlantic Coast's defense has been a little bit more stout than we might have expected. Very young defense. They've only got 2 seniors on the defensive side, 4 juniors, 5 sophomores, and yet they held Mandarin to only 14 points. Here are our first half numbers. Mandarin ran a few more plays, had a lot more total yards, 128 to 22. Passing yards, 91 to 37. You see the rushing yards. They were minus 15 in the last couple of plays, so that didn't help. First downs, those aren't right. Penalties and penalty yards. So anyway, it's you look at those numbers right there and you think, well, we don't have much of a ball game. But then you look at the scoreboard and it's 14-6. And all right, so we got a couple of things we're going to do here at halftime. So here comes the Mandarin Band. Do we want to go to the band or do we want to talk to Tally? Okay, so here comes the Mandarin Band, and we want you to be able to enjoy them. So let's go down to the field here at Bowles and enjoy the music from Mandarin High School, the Mustang. Is it the Marching Mustangs?
Brass captain, Lauren Ellis. Drum captain, Sam Gilbert. The band show will feature the sounds of Motown. Drum major, is your band ready? You may begin your show.
Great job by the Mandarin Mustang band, and we're going to take a timeout. We got a special guest here at halftime. 14-6 our halftime score. Mandarin on top.
Life happens. Reality strikes. Priorities shift, and you find yourself in a place you never dreamed. But then, opportunity emerges. A flame you thought was out reignites. Redefine your future. It's your turn. FSCJ.
If a car leaves the office at 5:46 p.m., picks up two different kids at two different locations, makes one U-turn because the second child forgot one item at the second location, passes 3 fast food joints looking for one meal that feeds 4 with 0 time to spare, what is the quickest way to get a quality family meal? The Publix deli. With delicious, ready-to-enjoy meals, every option is the right answer. Now that's everyday easy. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
The Publix Bold City Showcase Drive of the Game is brought to you by your local Southern Chevy dealers.
JOI has been wonderful for me. Going back to my playing days, they kept me on the field as a player. And since I have moved on to the next phase of my life, they have helped me lead a very active lifestyle. I got to go, go, go. And JOI, without them, I wouldn't be where I am. I mean, my left shoulder is money because of JOI. I'm going to go where the best is, and me, I'm going to JOI.
JOI, where the pros go.
Nominated deserving teacher to be recognized as the Sonic Drive-In Classroom of the Month. Winners will receive $250 in school supplies as well as Sonic slushes for the entire class. To nominate a teacher, go to the contest page on news4jax.com. Sponsored by Sonic Drive-In.
Life gets real. Time flies. You can lose who you are in the grind. But then opportunity knocks. Will you choose to answer this time? Rediscover what makes you tick. It's your turn. FSCJ.
Sign up for the Morning Blend. Each morning, I'll pick a story that's important for you and your day. Just go here and enter your email address here. Then click here to get the best stories chosen by your favorite morning show team.
And welcome back. Halftime here. Game 2 of the Publix Bold City Showcase presented by Sonic. And we got a pretty good ball game here, and we have a halftime guest to talk about all the fun that we're having out here. This is Tammy Talley, who's the Director of Athletics here for Duval County, and you got to be just tickled to watch all this happen out here.
It's pretty exciting for sure. I mean, the atmosphere is unbelievably just amazing for our student athletes, for our coaches, our fans. It's just a great experience for our kids to be able to have, under their belt.
And 3 times as many folks as last year. So it was nice last year to have actually these 2 teams open the season, but to have 2 more games is really cool.
Yeah, for Duval County Public Schools to have 3 of our schools participating, Lee High School, Mandarin, and Atlantic Coast is very exciting.
And so a lot of things going on around here. Talk about some of the rest of the atmosphere that you mentioned.
Well, it's a great tradition to be able to start in our community, from the Fan Fest to the VIP tent, band and cheerleaders and everything in between. The athletic trainers and team doctors are working really hard to keep everybody hydrated and safe and cool, and so it's just a great experience that I'm glad that everybody in Jacksonville is going to have a part to participate.
And it's amazing how many people come together to make something like this go, and it really is great to watch. And
it takes a lot of organization, it takes a lot of participation, it takes a lot of coordination, and it has to be all hands on deck, from not only Bowls hosting to Airstream putting it on, and then our partners like Channel 4 and 1010XL and Publix, and we just appreciate everything that our partners in the community are doing.
How cool. On TV, on the radio, you can catch it as you drive here, you get here, you go home, you watch it on TV, you put it on the DVR, get to enjoy it, and it's a beautiful, it's hot, but it's August, right?
Yes, it is. It is super hot out on the field, but again, I think everybody's staying hydrated, and there's plenty of opportunities to go to the concession stand, and we have our cold water immersion tubs for the athletes if they get overheated, and we can put them in. But I just can't say enough about how amazing this event is.
Where's the immersion tub?
The immersion tubs are on each corner, so if you feel like your body temperature is too hot, just let us know and we'll submerge you underneath the water.
That actually sounds really good. So, hey, talk about the fans here. And this side is very happy, by the way. The Mandarin side now is in the shade. There are just tons of folks here.
Well, they did some pre-sale tickets for the students, and they just really bought into this. They're wearing their spirit shirts. They have their little clackers, and they're cheering back and forth. Some good sportsmanship. They have their little cheering signs, and the cheerleaders are, getting everybody involved. So it's super fun to watch.
Tammy, thank you. It's a great day, and can't wait to watch the rest of it into the evening.
It's exciting. We appreciate you letting us have this.
All right, 14-6. We are approaching the second half, and good news for Atlantic Coast. They'll get the ball to start things off and a chance to even things out as we come back.
If a car leaves the office at 5:46 p.m., picks up 2 different kids at 2 different locations, makes 1 U-turn because the second child forgot 1 item at the second location, passes 3 fast food joints looking for 1 meal that feeds 4 with 0 time to spare, what is the quickest way to get a quality family meal? The Publix deli. With delicious, ready-to-enjoy meals, every option is the right answer. Now that's everyday easy. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
You feeling any younger?
Oh, yeah.
If this is the fountain of youth, why isn't everyone in here?
They don't know about Week for Life scratch-offs from the Florida Lottery.
They'll be sorry when we went up to $5,000 every week for life.
I can feel my skin tightening.
This is Lawn and Garden. Yep, it's happening again.
Live long and win on with Week for Life scratch-offs featuring over 29 million winning tickets. The Florida Lottery. It's your ticket.
Claim it!
When you walk into a gate, you'll get more than you ever imagined. Like quick and hearty meal options, fresh and fast pick-me-ups, and friendly faces to serve you. Gate has everything you need to keep up with your busy life. Say cheers to 25 years with the Jaguars' 25th anniversary collectible cup filled with your favorite fountain drink for just $1.25. Gate, serving up more.
The Publix Bold City Showcase Drive of the Game is brought to you by your local Southern Chevy dealers. When you see another senseless shooting, when your neighborhood is threatened, when you're scared for your family, there's only one news team you can count on, who care enough to get you answers, push to get results when the others give up. Report important new information first on every device. When you want a news team who understands why local is what matters most, watch News 4 Jax every night starting at 5. The local station.
All right. I love the creative shots. There we are. We're at Bowls, and it is the Bold City Showcase, and it's halftime. I guess we're halfway through, Ryan.
Yeah, look, I mean, the bottom line is Carson Beck, 2 interceptions, yet Mandarin still has a 14-6 lead. Although I think Atlantic Coast, John, has to be pretty happy. Like I said, if you were to tell them before this game kicked off, 14-6 at the half, you'd be trailing, I think Coach Montemayor would have taken that. This young Atlantic Coast team's playing well.
And they get the ball to start the second half. I'll tell you what, their quarterback, Rich Jacobs, Rich needs to get it going. I think that's going to be key to the second half for them playing with Mandarin. Let's take a look at some highlights in the first half. And Carson Beck comes out firing, and unfortunately connects with the wrong team. That was a great interception.
I mean, what did we talk about? Carson Beck, 8 interceptions last year, 2 interceptions in the first quarter. This year, kudos to Atlantic Coast for keeping this a ball game.
There's a big gainer. It was actually 2 big plays in the half, almost a touchdown there, and that is Tristan Riley, and he had a nice half. He had, I think, 4 or 5 catches, just missed out of the touchdown. Carson Beck will finish it off there, but just kind of fell over. You're 6'5", and you kind of fall over. Sometimes it gets you in the end zone.
Well, they need playmakers to step up. Like I said, no more DeMario Douglas, no more Chris Mitchell, all those great players they had on the state title team. But there's Tristan Riley. There's Pat Bryant, by the way. Great player for Atlantic Coast, getting in the end zone in his own right to get Atlantic Coast within 1 point of this ball game.
But they've got to get Pat Bryant more into this game. I think he had, 2 catches.
Yeah.
Here is the play of the half, and that is a great throw and an even better catch by Jalen Smith, and that is the difference in the half.
And you know what? Like we said, that's terrific coverage. If you're the defensive back coach for Atlantic Coast, you can't be upset with that.
Yeah.
Mandarin just simply made a play. It was a great play by the Mustangs.
All right, it's time for our Care Spot Coach's Corner. Let's go down to the sidelines with Tara Lagerman, who has Coach Montemayor.
Coach, this is your first year, your first game as a head coach. I know you're down right now, but there's still a lot of game left to play. How are you feeling?
Oh, we're good. It's only a one-possession game. There's plenty of clock left, so I just told the kids it's not going to happen in one play. Just got to take it play by play, series by series, and it'll take care of itself at the end.
I know that you said that facing Mandarin, which is your alma mater, by the way, was going to be a big challenge. What's the biggest thing that you're looking forward to this half?
Just finishing. That's why we put in the work in the weight room since January. It's all about finishing. It's not how we start. It's about how we finish. So I'm excited about the second half.
Best of luck to you, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Back to you guys in the booth.
All right, that's our Care Spot Coach's Corner. Injured or sick, just click carespot.com. Back with the second half, Mustangs and the Stingrays.
The Publix Bold City Showcase Drive of the Game is brought to you by your local Southern Chevy dealers.
If a car leaves the office at 5:46 p.m., picks up two different kids at two different locations, makes one U-turn because the second child forgot one item at the second location, passes three fast food joints looking for one meal that feeds four with zero time to spare, what is the quickest way to get a quality family meal? The Publix Deli. With delicious, ready-to-enjoy meals, every option is the right answer. Now that's everyday easy. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
When you walk into a game, you'll get more than you ever imagined. Like quick and hearty meal options, fresh and fast pick-me-ups, and friendly faces to serve you. Gate has everything you need to keep up with your busy life. Say cheers to 25 years with the Jaguars' 25th anniversary collectible cup filled with your favorite fountain drink for just $1.25. Gate, serving up more.
JOI has been wonderful for me. Going back to my playing days, they kept me on the field as a player. And since I have moved on to the next phase of my life, they have helped me lead a very active lifestyle. I got to go. And JOI, without them, I wouldn't be where I am. I mean, my left shoulder is money because of JOI. I'm going to go where the best is, and me, I'm going to JOI.
JOI, where the pros go.
Glass and mirror update by Lee & Kate's makes everything look better. Lee & Kate's Glass. You're gonna see a big difference.
All right, you see the Mustangs trying to hold on to that 14-6 lead. Carson Beck in that first half, 6 out of 12 for 95 yards, but 2 picks, Ryan Hacker Green. That was probably the surprise for those receptions by Tristan Riley.
Yeah, it was a surprise that Carson threw 2 interceptions. Again, he was very secure with the football last year during the Mandarin State Championship run. But, I got to convince myself of it, and other high school fans do as well. This isn't the 2018 Mandarin Mustangs. This is a brand new year, brand new personnel, and we'll have to see what happens. These young kids are going to have to grow up quick, because like we said, John, they're going to have a tough regular season haul, getting their hands full today with Atlantic Coast, but also on that schedule, Sandalwood and Oakleaf and Bartram, Lee. It's going to be a good regular season for the Mandarin Mustangs.
Not much on the ground from either team. Cameron Daniels had 7 carries for 21 yards. On the other side, Kendall Mathis had 7 carries for -2 yards. That didn't get helped much by -15 on 2 of his last 3 carries, but not a lot going on there. The numbers for Rich Jacobs, 5 out of 14 for 39 yards. So they've got a long way to go, and here's their opportunity to do it. They get the ball to start the second half as Mandarin's Hudson Levine will kick off.
And the way to look at it, if you would have told me Rich Jacobs had 39 yards passing at the half, no way would I have thought Atlantic Coast was still in this ball game, but they are.
Well, you saw the halftime numbers was the yardage is like 128 to 22. So Good coverage by Mandarin will keep Atlantic Coast inside the 20-yard line. A little dancing, but not much else by Malcolm Seaborn as he gets close to, but not quite to, the 20.
Yeah, Atlantic Coast backed up deep in their own territory. That was their problem, particularly in the first quarter, John. They could not get the field position turned, which enabled Mandarin to get on the board pretty quick.
And they have not been able to sustain long drives either. So they've got to get something going with the running game, and they also have to get that guy going right there. They have got to get that quarterback going.
Never been a coach, John, but if I were to tell you right now, I would go to Patrick Bryant. That would be my play call sometime in this series.
And on first down, they will do just that. Man, you ought to be a coach. 10 yards. You've got one of the top 6 quarterbacks in the city and one of the top 5 receivers. What should you do?
Right. I mean, I'm not breaking any news here. I'm not Nostradamus, but they did not, in my opinion, go to Pat Bryant enough in the first half.
Once.
You have a ridiculous talent at wide receiver. Throw him the ball. Let him make plays for you.
I'd do that about 3 times, and then I'd let him go long. Yeah, I think maybe there's Coach Montemayor probably was slowed down in the first half with those calls because it was not a great throwing half for Ridge Jacobs. Transfer from University Christian. Here we go. 2nd and 2. He's going to roll right, gets away from the trouble, and throws long again. Hey, here's your view from our Lee and Kate's Glass Chopper Cam. With Lee and Kate's Glass, you can always see the big difference.
No question about it, and I don't see a big difference on the field right now in the Atlantic Coast offensive line. John, again, Mandarin getting penetration in the backfield. Now, Rich Jacobs' stats don't look very good, but you got to take into account kid's running for his life more times than not back there.
Daniel Dawson was the intended receiver on that last one. And we've got Jacobs. He's on the outside on the right side. Barbie way out to the left. And standing next to him is Kendall Mathis. Going to throw again on 3rd and 2. And there's a nice open play and some pretty decent yardage for Atlantic Coast. Jordan Smith. They ran a little an interesting pattern out there, and Mandarin did not figure it out. Watch what happens here is Jordan Smith. They do a little crisscross. They actually kind of ran into each other.
Almost crossed up each other. I love that play, too, because when you're picking up a blitz, John, it doesn't matter if you tell the guy a story, spit in his ear, entertain him, just keep him off your quarterback, and that's what the Atlantic Coast tailback did. Now, he got ran over in the process, but it's okay that he got ran over because he did his job, kept the linebacker off of the quarterback, and the quarterback was able to get the ball down the field.
DeVron Davis had to decide between 2 guys. It's kind of like the old option play on the run, and made it a lot easier. That one is, boy, a little dangerous in his pass to Pat Bryant into double coverage and a little bit floated. So probably the best thing that happened on that play was it was incomplete.
Yeah, Pat Bryant might have turned into the defensive back there. Get his arm in there to knock it away from a potential interception. That would have been big for Mandarin. That would have certainly flipped this field. Atlantic Coast getting close to the midfield stripe again. Only down 1 possession here, 14-6.
I'd love to see Pat Bryant a little bit more across the middle.
Yeah, I agree.
2nd and 10. They look to be in a passing mood. There you go, across the middle. Now I'm the coach. Almost for 10.
John and I are for hire, if anybody's listening.
Oh, that was a late, tell you what. And not only is he a punter, a punt returner, a receiver, he now is going to be nominated for a Jacksonville Emmy. We have got to see that again because Pat Bryant.
Little gamesmanship there by Pat Bryant.
Oh, that was a thing
After
of beauty.
The play, the dead ball on the defense.
And so they go across the middle.
He's channeling his inner Vlade Divac there at the end of the play, John.
So there he is. He gets across the middle and gets up. Oh, go, man. Oh, man, that hurt, didn't it?
He got the call. He'd be great at soccer as well, I'm sure. That was an absolute flop, but the official bought it.
Joseph Lewis says, man, if I'm going to get a penalty, I'm going to put a shoulder into him next time.
Yeah.
First down, and up the middle they go as they go back to the running game. And Kendall Mathis, the sophomore again, for the most part has had some success. It had a minus 15 on one play, which will really hurt your numbers.
What I like about Mathis is he keeps the legs going.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes 2 or 3 Mustangs to bring him down. Now, he did have the fumble in the first half, but again, I'm not going to fault the kid for that because he had basically the entire Mandarin defense on his shoulders, and he was carrying him for a couple of yards. The ball just got ripped out of there.
So Bryant with much more activity here in the second half, thanks to coaches Green and Lawrence. And we've got a 2nd and 7 for Ridge Jacobs. Back to pass, pressure, wide open right side. A little bit of a slip, but Jordan Smith will get close to the first down marker.
Atlantic Coast on the move here. The short passing game, giving their hands, the receiver the hands on the ball and letting them go up the field. The yak, right? The yards after catch. Been pretty good for the Stingrays on this opening drive of the third quarter.
They have sustained the drive for the first time in the ball game. A chance to tie it up potentially here. Got to get a third down conversion though with about 1 to go. And they will throw, and that is a mix-up as Jordan Smith was open and did not know he was being thrown to. That's too bad. They had a play that would have worked, but a receiver who was crossed up.
Yeah, miscommunication. Luckily that play wasn't intercepted. The Mandarin DB had the best chance for that. So here we go. 4th down and about 2 on the 28-yard line. It looks like, John. It looks like Atlantic Coast is going to go for it here.
They will go, and let's see if they try to keep it on the ground and challenge that defensive line or whether they throw again. Kendall Mathis stands just to the right and behind Ridge Jacobs. And they're going to throw. And they've got the man, Pat Bryant, as he comes across the middle and gets a gain of about 9. Pat Bryant, do you not throw to him like every down?
I keep doing it. And I'll tell you the scary thing for Atlantic Coast, that kid's a junior. Pat Bryant's a class of 2021 guy making plays like this. We told you he's one of the best receivers in the area. You're seeing why, Jacksonville. He is a heck of a talent.
And a first down for Atlantic Coast. They'll go back up the middle this time. Mathis has running room and close to 10 yards. I like this kid for a youngin'.
I do too. Running hard, man. Running hard.
And Atlantic Coast, as you watch on replay here, watch Mathis get around the right side as Atlantic Coast makes a trip into the Publix Greenwise zone. Greenwise products are designed specifically for shoppers who pay extra attention to how items are grown, raised, and processed. And this time it's not going to work so well, and he'll still be short of that first down.
Yeah, Mandarin stacked that up pretty good there on the right side. Time-consuming drive here. They've taken 4 minutes off the clock, Atlantic Coast has. They're deep in Mandarin territory. We got a big third down here, though. Although, John, I don't know if it matters what happens here, barring a big loss. I think it might be 4-down territory for the Stingrays.
4th and about, or 3rd and about. They're saying 1, but that's a good 2 yards. They got to get to the 8. Mathis is a smaller guy, 5'8", but he is 170. And here we go, 3rd down and 2. What do they want to do? They want to roll. Oh, he's got room to run if he wants. Instead, he throws and out of bounds. Pat Bryant, as he got shoved out of bounds.
I think they're going to get Atlantic Coast for holding, though, John. It was going to come back anyway.
And they're going to get Pat Bryant for, tell you what, something happened to him. He might have rolled an ankle.
Scary thing here for Atlantic Coast. Their best players down here at the bowl school.
Ah, yep, I think it's his left ankle.
Ugh.
Left, well, is it an ankle or is it something else? He is down in the end zone.
Hopefully that young man can get up. He is a great player, and he has had a heck of a third quarter to this point. Atlantic Coast was, I believe, called for a holding penalty, John, so it's going to be backed up anyway.
And that's a tough break on 3rd and 2. I tell you what, Rich Jacobs could have run for that so easily. Okay, let's take You see that. All right, down to Tara Lagerman.
Guys, you got to feel bad for Bryant because he is moaning in pain. You can see the trainers right here checking out what looks to be his left leg, but now he's grabbing at that right leg too. So they have a whole team over here working on him. I talked to some of his coaches before the game. They tell me he is just such a great kid, has been a great kid from day one. He's a junior 3-star prospect, and he could wind up being the highest rated recruit in program history by the time he graduates. He says that his goal this season is to perfect his craft, to get better, and to help his team win. Obviously, we're going to keep an eye on his injury here, and I'll let you know what the trainers say. Guys, back to you.
Okay, thanks, Tara. Yeah, on that college wish list, I think the wish list may be on the other side for a lot of these guys. FSU, Georgia Tech, Miami, UCF, USF, Florida International, West Virginia. He's got offers from all of them before his junior year. But he's mentioned wanting to continue his tradition from his family.
He's up putting very little weight. You hope it's cramps, but with the way he's walking, I don't know.
I don't know. He's limping on both legs. Do you think it could be cramps?
That might be the best case scenario, John, is that it is cramps.
His brothers Brandon and Nigel both played at South Florida. And not surprisingly, he's also quite a hoops player. But boy, is he in a lot of pain right now.
Yeah, he is. He's already got an offer from Florida State, got an offer from Miami, Virginia Tech, among others. There's a lot of Power 5 schools that want Pat Bryant. But again, he is only a junior, a class of 2021 prospect.
3rd and 21 without Pat Bryant for Rich Jacobs. And this was looking so much better moments ago. Pressure. They'll get it out to the left-hand side. The pass is completed. They're going to be well short of the first down as they get it to Malcolm Seaborn.
Sets up a much more manageable field goal if they want to go that route, about a 38-yard field goal to cut this to 14-9. Or are they going to go for it here? Fourth and about 12.
They do have. Let's see. They're keeping the offense on the field. So.
They are.
So 23 down to the 8th. They need 15 yards. Rich Jacobs needs to reach into his bag of tricks here. Boy, it was 3rd and 1. He's gonna miss. He was looking for Ezra Barbie, but overthrew him and the defender, and the ball goes over on downs. And a really, really promising drive for Atlantic Coast. Turns about as sour as you can get, as you see. And so Atlantic Coast going to have to contend more with Carson Beck. There's that great first play. There you see him scoring the touchdown.
Well, if you're Mandarin, you got a golden opportunity now. Maybe the wind is kind of out of the sails of Atlantic Coast with that injury to their star receiver. We'll see if Mandarin can take advantage of that.
And here they go. Cameron Daniels at running back. And he'll get the football, and he'll find a little bit of daylight for maybe 4 yards.
Yeah, right up the middle there. Good push by the Mandarin offensive line. Pat Bryant just very, very gingerly still walking up that Atlantic Coast sideline. It took him a long time to get over there, John.
He's still not to the bench. It's taken him all this time to get over there. You'd think if it was cramps, you would have just maybe gotten some water over you. But
you're right, though. It looked like he was favoring almost both legs.
He really did, didn't he? Right side this time for Daniels. Good pursuit by the defense for Atlantic Coast as we get both Rontavious Scott and Tyrez Flulin on the pursuit.
Discipline. Stingray defense. Coach Montemayor has coached these guys up well. They're staying in their lane, staying in their gaps. They're doing their job. And once again, Mandarin's now got a 3rd down situation.
Well, it's not terribly surprising that this is a great defense. He was a defensive coordinator at Atlantic Coast, so for it to be a defensive-minded team makes sense. And here we go, 3rd and 6, and getting chased. Boy, wide open out in the flat for a first down. And he bought his time and eventually found Johnny Ward. Nobody anywhere close to him. And it's amazing. Great quarterbacks have eyes in the back of their head and the side of their head and all that kind of stuff. Watch this. He buys the time. He has trouble. He started right now. He goes left, and then look what I found.
Yeah. So frustrating for the Atlantic Coast defense because they had him on the run. But that's why Carson Beck is Carson Beck. He made a play in a key third down situation.
And I think it's time to get a drink. It is a hydration break. 5:51 left here in the third quarter. Time for a Sonic hydration break. For all cookie dough lovers, just when you thought you couldn't get enough cookie dough, Sonic made the big scoop cookie dough blast and sundae.
Life happens. Reality strikes. Priorities shift and you find yourself in a place you never dreamed. But then, opportunity emerges. A flame you thought was out reignites. Redefine your future. It's your turn. FSCJ.
I switched from Dodge.
We switched from Ford.
I switched from Ram. I switched to Chevy.
We switched to Chevy. We switched to Chevy.
For dependability.
For these guys.
And just look at it.
We switched to Chevy.
See for yourself why people are switching at the Chevy All-Star Open House. Get 20% below MSRP on all 2019 Silverado double cab pickups. That's over $97.50 on this Silverado.
See your Southern Chevy dealers.
If a car leaves the office at 5:46 p.m., picks up two different kids at two different locations, makes one U-turn because the second child forgot one item at the second location, passes three fast food joints looking for one meal that feeds four with zero time to spare, what is the quickest way to get a quality family meal? The Publix deli. With delicious, ready-to-enjoy meals, every option is the right answer. Now that's everyday easy. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Nominated deserving teacher to be recognized as the Sonic Drive-In Classroom of the Month. Winners will receive $250 in school supplies as well as Sonic slushes for the entire class. To nominate a teacher, go to the contest page on news4jax.com. Sponsored by Sonic Drive-In.
The Morning Show on Channel 4, the local station.
Life gets real. Time flies. You can lose who you are in the grind. But then opportunity knocks. Will you choose to answer this time? Rediscover what makes you tick. It's your turn. FSCJ.
Big Bang character prototype powered.
You just blew my filking mind.
Characteristics, distinguished astronaut.
Put your pants back on. Whee!
The Big Bang Theory, 5 nights a week.
Weeknights at 9 and 9:30 on Channel 4.
Mustangs on the move, leading 14-6, and we are going to head down to the sidelines to Tara Lagerman for a Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute injury update. Good news, Tara, what's the deal?
Yeah, good news. I just got done speaking with Dr. Kevin Kaplan, who's been here working on Bryant, and he says the good news is it's just leg cramps. Both of his legs ended up cramping up at once. No injury. So what they're doing, you can obviously see they're hydrating him. They're getting him to walk around. They're getting him to run a little bit so that he can get back into the game as soon as he's feeling better. So good news.
That is awesome news, and it's certainly what it looked like, Ryan, because he was limping on both legs. It didn't look like an ankle or anything like that. So as we come back, Martranius Mack gets about 8 yards on first down.
Sets up a 2nd and 2, and now Mandarin has Atlantic Coast right where they want him. 2nd and 2, John, you can really do anything you want as an offense.
Yeah, this is the danger zone for the Stingrays right here. They need to come up with another big play, and they're going long. Look at that ball, and he's wide open. Jalen Smith has done it again. He dropped the first one like that in the first play of the game. This time he does it. 46-yard touchdown, and just like that, it is a two-score game.
Beautiful catch, beautiful throw, great protection. That was phenomenal by the Mandarin Mustang offense. That is everything you want. Look at Carson Beck. Look at the velocity on that ball, right where only his guy can get it. Jalen Smith laying out. Absolutely beautiful, John.
Yep, and he can, and he's shown he has the speed to beat just about anybody, and that should be 2 long touchdowns and then a 3rd touchdown, but he dropped the first one, but has certainly made up for it. Extra point up and good, 20-6, and Carson Beck is feeling it a little bit better now.
Great protection by the line. That's a 55-yard throw in the air. Absolutely gorgeous. And Jalen Smith, what a day that young man's having.
Dad's got to be very happy, and that is the second time. Let's see how he gets open. He just runs by everybody. That's how he gets open.
Yep, split the defense in two.
Well, Jalen Smith, they have a long line of amazing receivers. They lost their top 5 from last year, including the captain Demario Douglas, Darian Oxendine, Chris Mitchell. I mean, these guys were amazing doing that kind of thing. And out of the gate, Jalen Smith, 6-foot junior, only 5 catches and 1 TD last year total. Well, he's got more than that today.
You mentioned Douglas, Oxendine, Mitchell. I'll throw Terrell Jennings in there, the running back. Not only did they lose these guys, John, these guys are playing college football now.
Right.
These guys moved on to the next level. So that's the caliber of guys Mandarin is trying to replace off that state title team. 21-6. I'm sure Mustang fans are feeling a lot better about things right now.
That ball will go into the end zone on a nice kick by Hudson Levine. I love some of their defensive, and now we'll watch Mandarin's defense come out here. They lost a kid named Christian Warren, who had 130 tackles, 29 tackles for losses, and 20.5 sacks.
20.5 sacks.
20.5 sacks, and and also Nigel McGriff, 122 plus 5.5 sacks. So this is a rebuild. But it's looking maybe a little bit more like a reload.
It's just so interesting, the dynamic, as we talked about at the top of the broadcast. Yeah, it is probably a rebuild, but they have Mr. Football on their roster and Carson Beck. It's just odd that Carson's back, but seemingly everybody else from last year is gone.
Well, it's kind of like the New England Patriots. The bad news is we've lost another 5 guys to free agency. The good news is Brady is still, number 12 is still a quarterback.
That's exactly right.
There's a nice pass and a first down and a big ripping tackle. But
tackled by forward Jolly.
Not before a first down by Jordan Smith.
Yeah, 11-yard gain on the play, move the chains with Stingrays. It obviously goes without saying, John, they need to get some points here.
And that is the first time. Whoop, we didn't see that. If we see the tackle there, Jerome Jolly was the one on that tackle. We haven't heard his name a lot. And that one is going to be picked off on the other side. And that was a great defensive effort by number 7, Nick Mitchell.
Yeah, I believe that is the younger brother of Chris Mitchell, who we just talked about yesterday, or talked about earlier, last year, having such a great performance for Mandarin. John, this is almost a duplicate of what we saw in game 1. Mandarin's come out really strong in the second half. You see the interception right there, great field position. Almost exactly what Bartram did to Lee in game 1 of this Publix Bold City Showcase.
Oh, what an athletic play by Mitchell, who's a 6'2", 200-pound junior. Had 11 tackles a year ago. 4 of those were tackles for losses and 3 sacks. So he's got the propensity for the big play. He makes it there, and Mandarin's got the ball back in business at the 40. Cameron Daniels right up the middle. And a late flag.
I always like going for the end zone on those plays, John. Not sure about the draw play there. Atlantic Coast sniffing it out. I think when you get a sudden change like that, the defense is a little on their heels.
That actually was not Cameron Daniels. It was Javaris Burton.
Down to remain 1.
Boy, almost an exact replica from the last time Mandarin got a turnover. They had the delay of game, if you'll remember, John. Well, now a holding penalty sets the Mustangs up in 1st and long. Again, maybe derailing the momentum they just had there by the defensive, the big play.
And Atlantic Coast just clawing and scratching and trying to stay in this ball game.
1st and 18 for the Mustangs.
They get a little bit of a break there. Let's see what they can do here. Handoff goes up the middle. And a gain of about 4, maybe 5. That was, once again, Javaris Burton getting the carry.
I think something to bring up, too, is Carson Beck and the Mandarin offense is out there. Like we said, they got all the acclaim last year. The defense was very good. Everybody's going to talk about Carson Beck and the touchdown throws to Jalen Smith today. Let's not forget what this Mandarin defense has done, putting a pretty good stop to a very good quarterback for Atlantic Coast and a very good Atlantic Coast offense.
6 points. That's it. With a brand new defense. That's not bad at all. Beck calls out the signals at 2nd and 15. Oh, he was thinking long. Now he finds short, and it's going to go long. Well, that works. We've got a penalty, though, on the other side that I think is going to cost Mandarin. But that ended up, you saw Beck, he really wanted to go deep. And then in the end, decide to make the little dump out. And the dump out to Burton went pretty nicely. But then we saw a flag come in late on the right side of the field.
Block in the back.
Block in the back.
On offense.
It's a spot foul, so Mandarin will still move into Atlantic Coast territory there, but that did stop, obviously, getting deep into Atlantic Coast territory. How many times today, John, have we seen Carson Beck hit the check down man and it turn into a big play? If they're covered deep, Carson has the presence of mind to stay with it, hit your check down guy. And these Mandarin receivers and running backs are so athletic. All you need to do is get the ball in their hands, and they'll make good things happen for you.
And then if we get a replay here, you'll see that Beck was looking long. Boy, he's got good eyes. You know, we talked about his elite processing. We're almost just watching him process as we go here, as he checks from one to another, and usually makes the right call. And Burton getting a bunch of activity here. Not much on the ground there on 2nd and 2.
I don't think he got it. It'll be 3rd and short.
So that penalty erased the first down. And 3rd down and about 1. Burton still in the ball game. He's played this entire series.
3rd and 1 in the shotgun. It's always amazed me. But yeah, you have Carson Beck. I guess it's okay.
And up the middle, and I think Burton's going to get a first down.
Didn't have to get much, John. He didn't get much, but I think he got enough depending on the spot.
So Carson Beck a year ago had a couple of 400-yard games, including in the state semis against Sarasota Riverview. 17 out of 27 for 474.
Unreal. Unreal.
That's what, almost 30 yards at completion?
Absolutely incredible run they had. Those 5 playoff games will be remembered at Mandarin High School for a long, long time.
For their first ever state championship in anything. Cameron Daniels tripped up. That was actually a really nice play by Desmond Evans.
I will tell you this, though, as we look at the Mandarin offensive line here, talking to Bobby Ramsey this entire offseason, the Mandarin coach, they were ready to start the defense of their title. Only so many times can you talk about defending state champion. It's time to get out there and actually play again. You know, enjoy the past, but certainly begin to move forward.
And you know what? It's fun to come back with all those stars you had last year, but it's also fun when you're one of the 18 guys that replaced those guys, and it's finally your chance.
Yeah, absolutely. No question.
And in great programs, the difference between those 18 senior starters and the guys behind them often isn't all that much.
No.
And often you'll find, wow, this is still a good team, even though they lost everybody. I mean, Jalen Smith looks like he's going to replace those other 5 receivers just fine, thank you. And so is Tristan Riley. Back across the middle, that was almost picked off. That was almost taken away for the 3rd interception of the game.
That's what the Stingrays need to do, John. They need a turnover here. We're getting late in the 3rd. You're down 21-6. Mandarin driving again. Atlantic Coast needs to come up with something on defense.
Latson Stoudemire so close to coming up with that one. And they're going for it on 4th down. Oh, boy. And that's a big mistake as Atlantic Coast jumps offside.
Schmidt on the defense.
That happened to Mandarin in the first half. Now it happens to Atlantic Coast, and that's a gimme first down.
That's a killer. Now Mandarin will have the ball for the next 2 plays, run out the 3rd quarter clock, it would appear. Yeah, you hate to, if Mandarin earns it, that's one thing, but just hand it to him with an encouragement penalty. Coach Montemayor cannot be happy about that.
And Cameron Daniels finds some daylight around the left end, and the running game's beginning to work a little bit. Daniels and Burton have had a lot to say on this drive. And by the way, Mandarin has made another trip into the Publix Greenwise zone. Come explore our aisles and discover the items that have earned the Greenwise name. Beck back to pass, and that could have been offensive pass interference as they They tried to hit Chris Freeman. Chris was kind of holding back the defender.
Got to tell you, I'm surprised something wasn't called there. There was a lot of battling downfield, whether it was offensive or defensive pass interference. I would have thought something would have been called.
But Chris had an arm out, kind of keeping the guy away, and then when it was incomplete, it was like, man, what happened? Why is there no call for me? Third about 4.
Something to remember here, too. A 15-point game, a field goal puts Mandarin up 3 scores. So a field goal is not the worst thing in the world for the Mustangs here.
Let's see what Beck can find. They're going to hand it on. Nope, play action. And into the end zone, and not quite able to handle the pass.
Looked like it was a little behind him.
Alex Schwenke, that's he's their tight end, wide receiver, kind of does a little bit of all of that, and that was a really difficult catch behind him.
Yeah, Beck on the run, trying to hit the tight end for the score. A little behind him, so now Mandarin going to attempt a field goal here. If this is good, John, it puts the Mustangs up 3 scores. This is a big, big kick in this ball game.
The Bryant will be attempting.
And Hudson Levine's been pretty good on everything he's been called on to do today. He's got 3 extra points. He's done a nice job with kickoffs. And let's see what Hudson can do here. It is blocked. And they have to cover this. Folks, this is a live ball, and here comes Atlantic Coast, one block to go, and that is a big-time return by Latson Stoudemire, who almost had the interception. They get the block of the kick, and let's see who.
I mean, the penetration there, Atlantic Coast, that kick had no shot. The Atlantic Coast picks up the ball, goes down the sideline. John, we talk about a turnover, talk about making something happen. Well, that is absolutely making something happen. Now Atlantic Coast deep in Mandarin territory, a touchdown for the Stingrays, and they're right back in this thing.
What a turnaround. Latson needed a block there. I'm not quite sure who got a hand on that. But, boy, what a big play by the Stingrays.
Pat Bryant back in the game, John.
Yes, he is, and they are back in the ball game, down 2 scores, 14 seconds on the 3rd quarter, but they are set up at the 25. First down, Pat Bryant, wide right. They're going to run it up the middle, and yet not much at all. So Mathis, maybe a gain of 1. Mathis meet Adams, Craig, Jackson, and Nooney.
That interior Mandarin defensive line's been very, very good today.
There you have it. 3 quarters in the books of game 2 here. It's the Publix Bold City Showcase presented by Sonic. And this one's not over, folks. Don't go anywhere. 21-6 is our score. But Atlantic Coast is not.
Slip and fall? Just call PENDAS. Offices, Jacksonville.
Nominated deserving teacher to be recognized as the Sonic Drive-In Classroom of the Month. Winners will receive $250 in school supplies as well as Sonic slushes for the entire class. To nominate a teacher, go to the contest page on news4jax.com. Sponsored by Sonic Drive-In.
I switched from Dodge.
We switched from Ford.
I switched from Ram. I switched to Chevy.
We switched to Chevy. We switched to Chevy.
For dependability.
For technology.
For the muscle.
And just look at it.
Adios, Lexus.
Bye-bye, Ford.
We switched to Chevy.
And I couldn't be happier.
See for yourself why people are switching at the Chevy All-Star Open House.
Or add another Chevy to your driveway. Current GM owners can get over $5,500 below MSRP on this Equinox. See your Southern Chevy dealers.
Update your floors with Empire Today's $50 room sale. Buy 1 room, get floors for all other rooms for just $50 each. So when you buy 1 room, it's only $50 for laminate in the kitchen, $50 for carpet in the bedroom, and $50 for hardwood in the office. There's no limit. Buy 1 room and it's $50 for floors in each additional room. Schedule now.
800-588-2300 Empire. Today. At Harrell & Harrell, there is no upfront cost to hire us. There's no fee to meet with us. It's free. Call us, 251-1111 for your free consultation. Harrell & Harrell, don't settle for less than you deserve.
If you just won't cross the ditch,
It's a Duval thing.
Named one of the best places to live.
that's a Duval thing.
And who's more Duval than the morning show team on Channel 4? Nobody. Having News4 Jax in your neighborhood day after day to cover important stories you care about. The Weather Authority, keeping moms in the know with an hour-by-hour forecast. And having Sky 4 in the air to cover breaking news. Well, that's a Duval thing, too. Duval! The Morning Show on Channel 4.
21-6, but Atlantic Coast is close. Mandarin's drive of the game, sponsored by the Southern Chevy dealers, capped off by that. Oh my gosh, how good is Carson Beck? And how good is this Jalen Smith going to be? Great wheels.
I'll tell you, the 2 touchdowns, John, for Jalen Smith weren't just touchdown catches. They were terrific touchdown catches. Absolutely spectacular by that young man.
Okay, and we have all kinds of activity on the line. Now, it looked like Mandarin jumped, which caused Atlantic Coast to jump. That'd be my call, but I'm wearing a red shirt, not a stripe. Let's see. I think they may call that against Mandarin.
During the dead ball, encroachment on the defense.
Against the Mustangs.
Mandarin, another penalty. Atlantic Coast creeping their way further and further into Mustang territory. Again, a touchdown here makes this thing very, very interesting coming down the stretch.
Tell you what, Pat Bryant comes down with that ball in the end zone.
Yeah.
On the other end on 3rd and 1, and we are in a dogfight right here. But they still have a whole quarter. Uh-oh. That's not good.
No, that was what you call a jailbreak, John. 2 guys in the backfield, and Ridge had nowhere to go with that one.
Led by guess who? Carlos Jackson. He is a destroyer. And here he comes.
He's got to be the defensive MVP of this game. Carlos Jackson's been everywhere.
Tell you what, you think about it, the whole game, though, the beginning we were calling Kadarius Poole. Then you mentioned Travis Moss as being somebody we called a lot. Nick Mitchell made it. A couple of good plays, but Carlos Jackson has been stout all game long. All right, 3rd and about 14, and they throw short to Pat Bryant, but he's not going to be able with 5 guys chasing him. It's like you 5, you go cover 3. When he catches it, tackle him. Hey, Football Fridays on 4. All the game-changing moments, the hits, the highlights every Friday night at 10:30 on News 4 Jax.
Clearly 4-down territory, you would think, John. Down 15, about 10.5 to go in the ball game. You don't know how many more possessions you're going to get. It's 4th and long, but if you're Atlantic Coast, it's getting somewhat close to desperation time.
Wasn't it just 1st and 5?
Yeah. That's what a quarterback sack will do for you.
Yeah. So this is pretty important as Ridge Jacobs lines up, and they need some protection. He's going to throw long. He's got a guy, and incomplete. And they're going to call interference. And Atlantic Coast is going to get a great break there.
I'd like to see that on replay. Did they call face guarding? I don't know how much contact there was. I don't think the DB necessarily turned around for the ball, though, either.
That was Devron Lewis, and I don't know that he did anything wrong, but trying to hit. Who was that down there? I think that was Malcolm Seaborn.
It wasn't Bryant because Mandarin had 7 guys covering him.
I don't know. I think Seaborn could have had that too. It was off his fingertips.
Yeah, I don't know about that call. If I'm the official, I think about keeping the flag in my pocket there. Let's take one more look. You know what? Nope, that's interference. I stand corrected. I would call that interference. He got there early. That's the benefit of a replay, John.
That's right. There we go.
That's why it's in the NFL now.
That's right. That's why we just proved it right there.
Exactly.
With our own replay.
So that keeps the drive alive.
Keeps hope alive.
Now it's still 4th down. It's 4th down and 2.
That's a lot better than 4th and 13.
Yes, it is.
So down to the 17 we go. They're bringing in the big team here for the 3rd game here.
When you see former Jaguar Kyle Brady give you a fist pound, that just makes my Saturday.
Yeah.
It's now complete. No question about it. Hey, I had number 80 jersey. Sitting in section 432 there in the upper deck.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Maybe I'll bring it for you to sign, Kyle. How about that?
Are we hydrating here? I think we're hydrating.
Making this event a success.
We hydrating?
He might have been a timeout, maybe.
Baptist.
Yeah, Atlantic Coast timeout.
Okay. Well, they need it here. Fourth and 2. So Atlantic Coast calls timeout. 10:15. So if they get it in the end zone here, it's still a ball game, folks. This timeout brought to you by Baptist Health, where you can now check ER wait times or book an urgent care appointment online anytime. Find out more at BaptistCareNow.com.
Needless to say, Atlantic Coast needs to score a touchdown here. If they do not score a touchdown here, then they're in a lot of trouble. So, but, you know, with that being said, kudos to those young men for still battling. Down 21-6 to the defending state champion. Could have very easily folded in the towel. They have not done that as they've driven the ball deep into Mandarin territory. This is obviously a huge fourth down.
So Jacobs 12 for 23 now, up to 99 yards. Would he love to see triple figures right here? He's got a guy wide open in the end zone. Touchdown! Guess, and how do you leave Pat Bryant open for a touchdown?
I want to see the replay, John. I think it was a great route. I think it was a great play call as well.
He was, he had probably 5 yards pad as he caught that. And here it is.
Here we go.
Rich Jacobs. He's looking there. He pump fakes. I don't know.
Maybe blown assignment, maybe.
You got 2 guys out chasing him out there, but neither one of them very close. And that is a big-time touchdown for Patrick Bryant. 7 catches, now 70 yards. He's got 2 touchdowns. He almost had a third. He's had a big second half. And a big extra point here. Get them back within 8. Remember, they had their first PAT blocked. That one is up and missed to the right.
That's big. It's still 2 possessions.
Wow. That really hurts. As Brad Benwick unable to convert the extra point. So they missed both of them, and that puts them down 9.
Here's a touchdown to Patrick Bryant. Patrick Bryant, obviously one of the best receivers in the area. He has proven that today. His second touchdown of the game.
He made one move. And unfortunately, Joseph Lewis is just a sophomore. Joseph went out. Bryant went in.
Yeah.
And that was 10 yards. That happened that quick.
I agree with you, though. If Atlantic Coast is in a 4 or 5 wide receiver set, I'm going to take my chances with man-on-man on basically everybody else, and I'm putting 2 or 3 guys on Bryant down the field. From here on out, if I'm Mandarin, wherever number 3 is, 2 or 3 of my guys are going.
I wasn't really kidding when I said 5.
Well, yeah.
You know, you gotta make sure that he is locked up, and that was a perfect example where you've got to have safety help over there. Unfortunately, the safety was late too.
He was. Now 21-12. That missed extra point does change some things. It is still 2 possessions with about 10 minutes to go. I don't think Mandarin's in bleed the clock time yet, though. A nice sustained drive, but Mandarin needs to move the ball, get some more points on the board here. Don't want to go into a conservative mode if you're Mandarin.
It's a 2-possession game, but are you going to feel good about a game-winning field goal for Atlantic Coast?
Yeah, that's true.
But let's see what Mandarin does. And they put it on the ground is what they do. I think they recovered the fumble.
Now we have the exchanging of pleasantries. Yeah, Mandarin got it back, John.
Wow, that was a great break.
First and 10 Mustangs from the
Okay, here we go. There goes Pat Bryant on the replay here. Now watch, he's going to break out, and then he's going to come back in.
Man.
That's just a thing of beauty, isn't it?
The down and out and up for Pat Bryant, and unfortunately the Mandarin defensive back bit on the down and out, and Bryant was wide open in the back of the end zone. And kudos to the Atlantic Coast line for giving the quarterback time, and the quarterback putting it where he needed to for Bryant to be able to make that catch.
And Mandarin survives almost a huge game-changing error on the kickoff. And now we're going to do a quarterback keeper on a zone read, and Carson Beck going to get about 6 or 7.
Carson Beck, very mobile for his size. There's no question about that. I'll still go back to that one play in the first half where he tried to run over the defensive back. That's the competitive nature Carson Beck has.
2nd down and 3 for the Mustangs. Clock counting down towards 9, and now the coach wanted a penalty thrown, but Mandarin just going for another play. They've got Martrinius Mack in the backfield and play action. Throw out to the right side, and that's a really, really nice tackle by Nick Mitchell out there after the first down. Did they get the first down? Not quite. Down to Tara Lagerman. What's going on, Tara?
All right, I'm here with Alan Verlander with Airstream Ventures, who helped to coordinate this entire event. Alan, I just wanted to check in with you. We're about to head into Game 3. How's everything going so far?
Yeah, it's going smooth. I mean, you've got hiccups with any event. I think the event planners, we always see the worst of it. But I think from a fan's perspective, we've got nothing but compliments. We do have some long lines in areas, but I think overall everybody's done a great job. And from an operational standpoint, you know, it's been as good as we could hope for.
And I know that you're really everyone's wanting this to become a Jacksonville tradition.
Yeah, that's the goal. I mean, we've got such a great sports community. Certainly Airstream Ventures does a lot to bring sporting events with TV4 and 1010XL, our partners in this. And so the goal would be 20 years from now, we're still doing this. And so I think that's what we're going to hope to do.
And lots of people have come out today to see their teams play. I know that you're expecting 10 to 15,000 people to come through these stands today.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the counts. I'm about to go do that. And so I think we're going to well surpass that. The crowds have been way bigger than we thought, thanks to all the promotion that's gone on. So overall, a great day, great weather. Looking forward to next year.
All right, we are too. Thank you so much, Alan. Back up to you guys.
Thanks, Tara. And great job again, Alan, for everything you guys at Airstream Ventures have done for this High School 912, and that whole initiative is amazing and really catching momentum.
Alan Verlander, Joe Lamp, all the folks at Airstream do such a great job.
3rd and a little bit less than 1. And Beck now is going to call a timeout after all that.
Well, needless to say, this is a big play. 3rd and 1, 8 minutes to go. Mandarin up by 9. John, a first down here, and now you will start thinking about running a little clock if you're Mandarin.
And they will call a timeout here. 8:04 to go in the ball game. 21-12. Mandarin on top. They call the timeout. This timeout brought to you by Baptist Health, where you can now check ER wait times or book an urgent care appointment online anytime. Find out more at BaptistCareNow.com.
September 6th against the Land.
There you see, how do you go through this thing and figure out how a school is classified? Well, there it is. You got your rural schools, got class 2A, 3A, 4A, getting up over 1,000, 5A. Up to 2,400 and above. I guess the biggest school in the state of Florida is almost 5,000. And there's 78 schools in Class 8A.
One of the big changes this year, like we said, Oakleaf, Bartram, and Nice all have moved up into the 8A classification. With Bartram and Nice, that just goes to show you the explosion of students in St. Johns County.
And it's going to make for one heck of a district. So Mandarin on 3rd and 1. Let's see what Beck can get his troops to do. He goes under center and sneaks. And I think he got the first down, no problem. He's all the way up to the 35. And the Mustangs will get a first down and keep the clock rolling as we are now under 8 for the ball game.
Yeah, I think at this point now, again, if you're Mandarin, even though you got Carson Beck, I think you want to run it a couple of times here, see what you can do on the ground, keep that clock moving. It'll be about 7.5 minutes probably when they snap this ball again.
Couple of more runs, and then you look for number 1 bolting down the sidelines.
That's exactly right.
Boy, Jalen Smith, how good has he looked? Handoff, and this one's going to get backed up into the backfield as Martrinius Mack is taken down. Nice play.
This is
the Stingrays side.
This is the series for the Stingrays, John. Need to get them off the field right now. It's a good start. 2nd down and about 15. You got to get Mandarin off the field these next 2 plays. Get the ball back to your offense because, again, you need 2 possessions to catch Mandarin at this point.
Travis Batts did the job on that play for the 5-yard loss. Now I assume they will go back to the air. Play action, fake throw. And there's that thing I called for, and it's complete to number 1. He dropped the football, and it's recovered Well, it's still on the ground, but I think Atlantic Coast, after all of that, came up with it. But they found Jalen Smith wide open, but he lost the football after about a 40-yard gain.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen Smith wide open again. Carson Beck finds him. Jalen Smith going to the end zone. And kudos to Atlantic Coast, man, sticking with the play, knocking the football out of there. Now, the good news for Mandarin, it's essentially a punt because it's 45 yards down the field. But nevertheless, Atlantic Coast gets the ball now, only down 9.
And that is a big-time play by a guy who's not even on the roster. That's pretty good. Number 19's not even listed, and he made a great play and stripped Jalen Smith, stopped another huge gainer.
When you make a play like that, John, you don't need to be on the roster. You let the play speak for itself.
That's right. Holy moly. And that one almost over the head of Rich Jacobs. A handoff, and it still goes for pretty good yardage. Kendall Mathis.
Here's the strip, yeah.
19. He just pulled it out of there. He says, I'm going to be in the roster next week, Coach.
Jalen Smith's had a very interesting day.
He has had
2 ridiculous touchdown catches. He had a big drop and now a fumble. All in all, though, I'll take his performance today.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a player you remember. 2nd and 5. Jacobs for the first down. That's out and complete to Malcolm Seaborn.
Atlantic Coast refuses to go away, making this thing interesting. 9 down, 6.5 to go.
Tell you what, those 2 missed extra points just tear at your heart at this point.
Maybe I will be Nostradamus. What did I say about 2 hours ago? Remember the blocked extra points.
Yep. Well, clock is stopped. 6:34 left in the ball game. It's time for a Sonic hydration break. Fill up on Sonic's Car Hop Classic for just $2.99. We will be back in action in just 2 minutes. Stay with us.
Auto accident? Just call Pendas. Offices, Jacksonville.
Wow. Our Labor Day sale is so huge, we give you more than just a weekend. Now through Labor Day at Tire Kingdom. Buy 2 tires, get 2 free when you purchase our value installation package. Plus, for a limited time, use your store credit card and get a $75 mail-in rebate and pay no interest for 6 months. Get amazing savings on top tire brands. Buy 2 tires, get 2 free. Plus a $75 rebate and no interest for 6 months. Hurry to the Labor Day sale at Tire Kingdom. That's all you need.
I switched from Dodge.
We switched from Ford.
I switched from Ram. I switched to Chevy.
We switched to Chevy. We switched to Chevy.
For dependability.
For these guys.
And just look at it.
We switched to Chevy.
See for yourself why people are switching at the Chevy All-Star Open House.
Visit your participating local Chevy dealer today and register to win this all-new 2019 Silverado LT Trail Boss. See your Southern Chevy dealers.
When you walk into a gate, you'll get more than you ever imagined. Like quick and hearty meal options, fresh and fast pick-me-ups, and friendly faces to serve you. Gate has everything you need to keep up with your busy life. Say cheers to 25 years with a Jaguar's 25th Anniversary Collectible Cup filled with your favorite fountain drink for just $1.25. Gate, serving up more.
Nominated deserving teacher to be recognized as the Sonic Drive-In Classroom of the Month. Winners will receive $250 in school supplies as well as Sonic slushes for the entire class. To nominate a teacher, go to the contest page on news4jax.com. Sponsored by Sonic Drive-In.
Sign up for the Morning Blend. Each morning, I'll pick a story that's important for you and your day. Just go here and enter your email address here. Then click here to get the best stories chosen by your favorite morning show team.
Mustangs trying to hang on here. Game 2 of the Publix Bolt City Showcase presented by Sonic. Atlantic Coast with the football, and they need some help, and that one is going to be tipped up in the air and incomplete. If they're going to get in this thing and have a chance at the end, they need some big things from number 3.
They do. Patrick Bryant's already done a lot. He's going to need to do a lot more in the next 6 minutes or so. I'll tell you this, though. Number 23 there, the tailback, made a play that just prevented an interception for Atlantic Coast.
Yeah, that was a great play. This is the guy who's got to get it done. Look at the way he moves. Those guys are just special. He floats That was the one that didn't count. That almost, tell you what, we'd almost be looking at a chance at an upset here. That one is knocked down, so 2 in a row deflected. And Riz Jacobs going to face a 3rd down and 10 here, and it's due time.
Yeah, they probably got 2 downs to get 10 yards, 6:22 to go. You punt it back to Mandarin, down 2 possessions, I don't know.
You're in trouble.
Patrick Bryant, you think he's only going to get better again. He's just a junior. First game of his junior season, and he's doing this. Imagine what that kid will be a year or 2 years from now.
He is the #1 junior on the field here today, and one of the top 2 players. Jacobs back to pass. Lots of pressure as they let him through on the screen, and how about that play right there? That is a tremendous play by Mandarin's Kadarius Poole. We called him a number of times early, and he snuffed out that screen after a gain of about 4.
That has to be unbelievably frustrating for Coach Montemayor and Atlantic Coast. They had that.
They did.
And Poole made a great play. The offensive lineman just got juked, and that linebacker saved a big play. So now, are they punting?
They are punting with
Wow.
5:45. They're going to have to stop them. 4th and 6.
Wow, down 2 possessions and punting. I don't know about this, John.
Well, the ball is going to be in the hands of number 3.
That's true.
and look what happens. And wouldn't you know that that's going to happen? He's not going to get a first down now. They stopped him 2 yards short. Yeah, I thought about that in the first half, thinking, man, this is a great guy to have the ball in your hands, but you don't normally on a punt watch the guy who's deep.
Yeah.
Get the first down, and he got darn close there, but missed it by about 2 yards.
I got to be honest. I like getting the ball in Bryant's hands. Much rather than run an offensive play in that situation, because if you knew that was coming, the Mandarin coaches knew that was coming as well.
I tell you what, he didn't get any help from his receiver there with a block. I don't know if that would have helped or not. But anyway, comes up a couple of yards short, and now Mandarin takes over at the Atlantic Coast 49, just trying to wrap this thing up. They'll hand off, and Daniels will take it up the middle for about 1.5 yards.
You got to wonder, down 2 possessions, when does Atlantic Coast start using timeouts, as the clock will tick under 5 minutes here. 21-12 Mandarin. Very entertaining ball game. And look, who did we talk about at the Open? Carson Beck and Patrick Bryant. And John, those 2 young men have not disappointed.
They have not. Now, those are 2 amazing football players. I tell you what, who hasn't disappointed is Atlantic Coast. They lost to Mandarin 39-7 last year. And I don't think Coach Montemayor is going to be talking about moral victories, but this is kind of a moral victory. I think they played well today, especially defensively. And Beck on the move. And that's his biggest gainer using his feet out of bounds at the 33.
Yeah, Carson Beck making it happen there. Scrambling. Didn't see anything downfield. Takes off.
He is such a good processor. He just sees things the way big-time quarterbacks see things.
And again, he's a big kid, man. He's big and tall, and for him to be able to move and be mobile like that, just another quality of Carson Beck's game.
So first down at the 33. I loved his quote before the game. He said they're going to probably blitz me like crazy. And that one goes up the middle, and Cameron Daniels with his best run of the game for about 13. And now you're running into a tired Atlantic Coast defense.
Yeah, you got to wonder. Atlantic Coast defense has played so good the entire game, John, but at some point, there's no more gas left in the tank. And you wonder if that's where we are with Atlantic Coast right now. They're getting blown off the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I think that's it. We haven't talked about Carson Beck and his athletic abilities besides football. He was an SEC quality baseball prospect.
He was. Committed to Florida for a while.
And an AAU, and that's a great play. Defensively for Atlantic Coast by Sam Christopher, senior, with a tackle in the backfield. Yeah, so he's that good a baseball player. Also played AAU basketball.
See, I don't know why you run outside here, John. You were blowing him off the line of scrimmage. Yeah. I think you just continue to run up the middle. You let him get penetration on the outside. I think Atlantic Coast has now used one of their timeouts with about 3:21 to go in the ball game. Mandarin up by 9.
Yeah, I'm afraid this one is probably not going to happen the way that Atlantic Coast would like, but they had a chance with that last drive. Got it into Mandarin territory, but
both teams have had opportunities. Patrick Bryant down here on 3rd and 1, then he got injured. Who knows what could have happened there? And then remember Jalen Smith with the drop and the fumble over here. So Mandarin already could have put this one to bed.
Heck, I don't know if you knew this or not, but Kate Kane never planned to be Gotham's new vigilante. Watch Batwoman starting Sunday, October 6th. 8 o'clock at night on CW 17.
Nice.
See, you didn't know that, did you?
I like that. I did not know that, but I'm happy I learned about it. Mandarin coaches are pretty excited in there.
They are. There's several booths down in.
Yeah.
You're probably hearing them. So Beck on 2nd and long. He's got Tristan Riley. Tristan Riley went away, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a good first half.
He
Hasn't
did
gotten the ball much in the second half.
And a run by Martranius Mack around the right side. Again, they go wide and maybe got 3 or 4 on that one.
You don't want to go
out.
They
went out of bounds.
Right, you don't want to go out of bounds. Bobby Ramsey can't be happy about that. You got to stay in bounds there. Keep that clock moving. That saves Atlantic Coast some time and probably a timeout.
So they stop this here, then they got to go into the 2-minute drill, and I tell you what, it's 2-minute drill to score twice.
Yeah.
Beck back to pass. Lots of time now. He's chased, and he finds an open guy, but that one went right off the hands of his intended receiver.
He was open, too, on the sideline.
That was Schwenke again, and not able to bring that one down.
During the play, that holding on the offense.
Decline that, make it 4th down, right? Or do you knock him out of field goal? I don't know. I think you got to get him off the field, don't you?
Yeah, I don't think they would even try a field goal. Worry about a block and a return. We already saw that once.
Yeah, it's declined. So how happy you think the University of Georgia is?
Whew. Pretty happy. We'll see them obviously next week as they get their season underway.
And he will be Carson Beck will be a Georgia Bulldog. Looked like he might go to Alabama for a while, and like they need another quarterback.
Yeah,
but then Georgia's in the same boat. Pretty much in the same boat.
Jake Fromm, a Heisman hopeful this year.
Oh goodness! And that was a big sack, and the ball is out. I think he was down, but that's your franchise quarterback there getting absolutely hammered. And I believe
that is one of the biggest
bats.
Travis Batts. That is one of the biggest shots you will see on a high school football field. Carson Beck just getting leveled on that play. Look at this. Holy moly.
And he does not feel great as he walks off. That was a big time hit.
Clean hit too. No helmet to helmet there. Nothing wrong with that. That's just good hard-nosed football. My goodness, Carson Beck will be feeling that tomorrow.
Wow. So the ball turns over on downs. The Atlantic Coast gets it back. That was a 4th down play. That would have been glad that didn't end up any worse than it did.
Yeah. So 21-12 Mandarin, 3 minutes to go. Atlantic Coast with the ball here. Obviously, they need to move around pretty quick.
They'll get about 7 or 8 on 1st down on a quick hit out to the flat there. And that went out to Jordan Smith.
If you're Mandarin, do you do the prevent defense, or are you one of those guys where the prevent defense prevents you from winning games?
I'm not a big fan of the prevent. They're actually playing pretty tight for the most part. Looks like about maybe 7 yards off the guys on the sides. And that's a 1st down. on a quick hitter out to Daniel Dawson.
That's a good, well-coached team. Well-coached quarterback. Take what the defense gives you. Get 8-9 yards. Get out of bounds. That's good stuff there from Atlantic Coast.
Tell you what, this would be a huge victory to get down and get a touchdown. Even make this a 21-18 game before it's over.
Yeah.
Just to build for the season. Have your quarterback be able to engineer a drive here. Bryant lines up wide right. Let's keep an eye on him.
At some point in the next 2 or 3 plays, don't you have to go deep to Bryant, Josh?
He's got one-on-one coverage. Yeah, he does. He's got one-on-one coverage. And I think he wanted the football and didn't get it.
Yeah, I think you're down 9, 2.5 to go. I would tell Bryant, run a fly pattern. You throw it up there, see what happens.
I think I'd try one of those little double moves there, maybe a pump fake and let him go. But that was one-on-one coverage with Pat Bryant. Heck of a basketball player, too.
Yeah. Fans beginning to file in for the nightcap. University Christian and Bowls. A lot of state championships between those two programs.
For sure.
You'll hear that with Culpepper and Kyle Brady coming up here after we are done.
We can definitely say UC will have a new quarterback this year.
That's right. That's right. Because we're watching him right now in an Atlantic Coast uniform.
That's right. And lots of pressure again. He gets out of it. And that's going to be grounding as he threw it to nobody. Out of bounds.
Yeah.
And they didn't throw the flag.
Is he outside the pocket maybe?
Maybe, but yeah, there was nobody anywhere near him.
So. Actually, come to think of it, I think in high school it doesn't even matter if you're outside the pocket.
I don't think it does because they called it in the first game.
Yeah, that's right.
And there comes the flag. Yeah.
I don't know if I like that rule or not. If you're scrambling around, throw it outside the pocket. Do you give the quarterback the benefit of the doubt?
But you are just avoiding the sack.
That's true.
Let's be honest. If there's nobody, I mean, I think you gotta find somebody. Anybody.
Yeah.
Throw it at their feet. So you lose the down. You lose. It's a.
They give the NFL boys the benefit of the doubt on that one.
Yeah.
All right, so it's
getting longer and longer, isn't it?
What do we got here? We got third and a mile.
20-something.
And they have to get a first down, obviously. So third down is irrelevant. They have 2 downs to pick up the yardage.
Got to get to the 43. They're at the 36. And back to pass again with pressure. That one is picked off.
Yeah. Was
that will do it. As Mandarin, that one was the pressure did that one. The pressure did that one. And Uriel Richardson, who plays a little running back, plays a little cornerback, gets the pick off Mandarin, and with 2:07 to go, that is going to do it. And you'll see, I think the pressure, I don't think he got it where he wanted to go. He's just trying to get it out to Bryant.
You got to get it to Patrick Bryant in that situation. I like the idea. At that point, it's pretty much desperation anyway. Again, right idea for Atlantic Coast, just great execution by Mandarin. And now with Atlantic Coast with like 1 timeout, I believe, 1 first down should do it here for the Mustangs.
And a nice run there. Martranius Mack with a good almost first down. In fact, he got first down yard. He's got about 11 yards. All right, Tara stole my quiz, my first quiz for you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to throw another one at you. Bobby Ramsey won the top coach award in the state last year, right?
He did.
There have been some other guys from our area that have won the Dairy Farmers Coach of the Year from the area. Can you name about 5 of them?
I'd have to think a guy that had a lot of success in this stadium, Corky Rogers. I'd have to think Verwin Dormney over at Trinity Christian. I'm just trying to think state titles here. Maybe Joey Wiles at St. Augustine.
That's your first correct one, and we have another touchdown.
Wow, Mandarin, there you go.
And Mandarin, Martranius Mack finding his way to the end zone and pouring on a little bit here at the end as the Mustangs. Let's take a look. We're doing trivia here, and Mack breaks a tackle, and then he does the rest just with his speed. Just outdid Mystery Man 19. That's a great run by Martranius Mack. He's not the starter. He's the backup, but I tell you what, he's had a nice ball game.
I know I'm reaching here, It's 21-12. That makes it 27-12. Extra point makes it 28-12. Atlantic Coast gets the ball. It's still 2 possessions. He would have been better served to go to the ground. He would have been.
Yeah.
You know.
And extra point up and good.
Yeah, so Mack with a deep run gets into the end zone. Mandarin now 28-12 over the Stingrays. Look at that speed, John.
Yeah, he's got to knock him out of bounds, and the first guy needs to make the tackle on the edge.
So you're telling me Corky Rogers never won the Florida Coach of the Year?
So the top coach award in the state, local winners. You mentioned Joey Wiles. Yeah, I'm a little shocked by that too.
How could Corky Rogers not win that award?
Okay, like national award.
Right.
He's not on this list.
Marty Lee at First Coast, going to the state championship a few years ago.
Did not do it.
No? What I'm striking out. I'm 0 for 3 here.
You got Joey Wiles.
How about the brand new head coach at Bowles? Guy taking over, and old Ponte Vedra coach Matthew Toblin.
Still working it here.
Wow. All right, well, you're going to have to help me because I am obviously 0 for.
Bob Withrow, maybe a little before your time.
A little bit. I know the name.
Yeah.
A little before my time.
Robbie Pruitt might have been a little bit before your time.
No.
1996.
I've had Coach Pruitt on the radio in the past.
Yeah. Danny Green at Columbia.
I should have got Danny Green. Danny Green did a great job at Columbia. Did a pretty good job at Orange Park, too.
No, who you should have gotten is Darren Wiley of Rams.
Oh, Duran Wiley.
Yeah.
Yes, I should have.
2015.
Yeah. Back-to-back 4A state champions. Kind of surprising last night. Duran Wiley and the Vikings going down to Orlando Jones, 40-15 at home over there at the graveyard at Rains High School. So that was one of the surprising outcomes on Friday night.
Now, Orlando Jones is always a powerhouse. I mean, they are one of those Orlando schools. There's the kick. And returning it back out to about the 24 is number 23, Daniel Dawson. Minute 19 to go, as you said. Culpeper returns along with Kyle Brady to bring you the finale here tonight. We got the booth all cooled down for him, too, so not so much?
No. Yeah. You know, I put the jeans on today, trying, I'm not on the radio, I'm on television, looking all pro, and kind of regretting that decision, John. I'm not going to lie to you.
No, that's not a great decision on a lot of different levels.
It wasn't. It wasn't. But what a great time. Certainly appreciate, Airstream Ventures and the good folks at Channel 4 for giving me this opportunity to get out of the radio booth and see how the TV side of things is done.
Well, you've done a great job, and I tell you what, this has been balls on the ground, and I think Mandarin may come up with it. I think it's time to call off the dogs.
I think so. Victory formation looks like for the Mustangs now.
Victory formation would be nice. Tell you what, I'm still impressed with the effort that Atlantic Coast gave today. They really did a lot of things right. They've got a defense that is not bad at all for being so young. I think it's going to get better as the year goes on. They've got a star at receiver. They've got a real-life quarterback that, as he gets more acclimated to their system, is probably going to play pretty well here. He's got a history of playing pretty well.
I really like their head coach, too. I like Coach Montemayor a lot. But like you said, no more victories. I don't think the Atlantic's, they're not going to be happy about this. They're going to take this tape and learn from it and try to get better next week when they play Bishop Kenny, right? Next
That's
Friday.
right. It's way better than 39-7, though.
That's right.
And that one goes up the middle as we got a new quarterback in the game. That's Trey Lawrence.
I think Atlantic Coast is going to save that last time out, take that to the house with them, John. It looks like one more snap, and this will be a wrap here.
John Parkins gets the carry that time and remains in the ball game at running back. Trey Lawrence is a basketball player too, correct?
I believe he is. That's right.
And around the right side, and pretty nice job by Parkins that time.
Young man battling for extra yardage. We'd like to see that, getting an opportunity to get a carry.
And very smart, got out of bounds, which will earn him another carry.
That's true. Well, we'll see. The clock's running.
Oh, it's running.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought maybe he got out of bounds. Nope, I'm afraid that's probably going to be about it.
I think that'll do. I think we're looking at a 28-12 final with Mandarin going to 1-0. Atlantic Coast falling to 0-1. Great game by both sides.
Tell you what, we've had a couple of interesting games. Who would have thought that Lee would come out short 48-20 with Bartram Trail? So Bartram Trail, two teams from the same district in 8A are winners here today, and they're going to both be heard from.
Well, Georgia fans, you see what the hype about Carson Beck is all about. And Florida State fans, Miami fans, among others, you see why your programs have offered Patrick Bryant a scholarship. He's going to be one heck of a football player in this area over the next 2 years.
And he's going to be fun to watch, that's for sure. 28-12, our final score. The two teams, I like this. Sportsmanship. That's some great plays. How about that interception? Who would have thought Carson Beck would have 2 interceptions today?
Carson Beck, 2 interceptions, but obviously turned it around in the second half.
Yeah, and Bryant had a couple of times to quiet the crowd, but in the end, Mandarin prevails. 28-12 is our final. We'll be back to talk to winning coach Bobby Ramsey.
Hurricanes, they're inevitable. And the Weather Authority on News 4 Jax will always be here. Forecasting the danger days in advance, keeping your family ready. Always watching, alerting you, and pinpointing major changes, so this won't keep your family from safety. Always tracking, minute-by-minute coverage from the heart of the storm. Hurricanes, they're inevitable. And the Weather Authority on News 4 Jax is here for you every day on every screen. Always watching, always tracking.
At Farah & Farah, when we talk about total client commitment, it means conducting our own investigation and talking to witnesses ASAP, even if it's the weekend. Farah & Farah, here for you, here for good.
At Inside Edition, we don't just report the news. We go where the news is happening. Inside Edition.
Weeknights at 7:30 on Channel 4, the local station. The Morning Show on Channel 4, the local station.
There you see the final. That'll do it for us up here in the booth. For Ryan Hacker Green, I'm John Lawrence. We're going to send it down to Tara Lagerman and get a final word with winning coach Bobby Ramsey. Tara.
Coach Ramsey, it's got to feel good to get that first win of the season on such a big stage on live TV, too.
Yeah, I think the kids, their guys did a really good job of handling the atmosphere. It's something we talked to them a lot about. Say it's going to be a real unique situation. There's going to be a lot happening around you, a lot of people there, games going on while you're warming up. So, we couldn't put them in the situation before, but we could at least talk to them about it and get them thinking about it. I think they did a really nice job.
And I know that you have a lot of new guys on the team this year. This was your first look at them. How do you build on this going forward?
Well, I think defensively we really showed a lot of good things. I think we made a lot of improvements there. Offensively, I think, we're still putting it together, and repetition will help that, and experience will help that. But we moved the ball well. I think offensively we just got to do a better job in the red zone and protect it a little better.
What's your top thing on the to-do list in practice this week?
Offensively, finish drives and protect football.
Thank you so much. And speaking of offensively, Carson, we're going to bring you in right now. Great game, great job. You took a big hit in that the last couple of minutes of the game. How are you?
I'm good. I'm straight. Yeah, I've taken bigger hits, so it's all good.
And talking about all the new guys that you have on the team this year, how was it playing with a lot of them for the first time?
I mean, it was a lot of fun. It's definitely a lot different, and I mean, they're athletes, and they can make plays. Sometimes we made mental mistakes and mental errors throughout the game. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we can work on and a lot of stuff that we can fix. But, I mean, for the first game, I thought we did a pretty good job.
Did you have any jitters going into this first game, especially with such a big showcase for today?
Not really. I mean, not really. I don't really know what I was saying. Not really. I was excited to be out here for my senior season, first game, just kind of get the juices flowing and get everything started.
All right. Any other goals for your senior season besides win another state championship?
That's about it. I mean, win another state championship, better myself, and obviously start getting prepared for the next level.
All right. What do you want to say to all the fans that came to see you guys today? You had a great turnout.
Thank you for coming out. For everyone, all the Manager fans, whoever else came out, thanks for everyone watching. We had a lot of fun, and yeah, I'm out. Bet.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Carson. Congratulations. Great game, and enjoy your senior season. All right.